getting started. Okay, so we have a couple of attendees as well from Seidor Procons who will be following up with you with your inquiry later on from the delivery team, from the sales team, and from the TAM team located in Saudi. So I will start sharing my screen as well. Okay, to go through. So what I will show today is mainly for the new law on new enforcement as well from Saudi government for e-invoicing. Okay, so we will start today. As I told you, if you are consistently attending our webinar for Seidor Procons, we made from, I think, a couple of months ago, a webinar for digital transformation. And this kind of stuff that the Saudi government is asking is kind of digitalizing, okay, the invoicing and exchange of information between all the companies. So we will start today with just a quick introduction about e-invoicing. What is e-invoicing, Fatura? What are the phases included? Who should apply it? How to comply as well? E-invoicing type, and I will show you a small demo what we did. Okay, quickly. Okay, using SAP Business One. So what is e-invoicing? E-invoicing, everybody knows now that it is already mandatory, okay, to use a system, okay, to issue invoices, credit note, debit note from to any company, to any taxpayer in the kingdom, to stop issuing a paper or any type of invoices that are not coming from system. So in a structured and electronic format, and this should be as well exchanged between any buyer and any seller in the kingdom. So quickly, you have as well, so any paper, anything that you scan it, it's not considered, and if you are doing a paper and you scan it, send it by email, it will not be considered as e-invoicing anymore. If you're doing it on Excel as well, it will not be considered as e-invoicing. It should be coming from a certified system, certified third-party ERP system, okay, to be able to be compliant as well. It's not only ERP, sometimes it's a POS system, sometimes it's a, I don't know, e-commerce. Okay, so all these should be compliant with the kingdom rules, regulation. So in grosso modo, we have two phases. We have the phase one and we have phase two. Phase one, which will be applicable in December 4. Okay, which consists of generating the electronic invoice, okay, and to stop issuing paper invoices. So this is the one, and we have some regulation as well for phase one. We will go through that as well in the demo to show you what you have to do, okay, in your system to be compliant. And we have phase two, which is the integration phase. And in phase two, mostly it will be starting 1st of January 2023. Okay, but we are still waiting for some rules, some regulation, okay, to be compliant, okay, with the kingdom, because there is some XML files to be exchanged between, and the portal from GAZT is not yet ready, so to do the exchange of this information. Okay, in terms of supplier invoice, customer invoice, all these stuff should be controlled and sent to GAZT portal. So now what we are considering and what we are focusing on is just phase one. Okay, what is included? Who should apply for phase one? Okay, any person, okay, who is resident in the kingdom. Okay, should be, because it's a taxable person. Any taxable person that is resident in the kingdom should be should apply the e-invoicing required by ZAPCA, and as well any third party, okay, who are issuing invoices on behalf of a taxable person, okay, based on the VAT implementation regulation. So these are two has not changed before because it was already there. Okay, but you were some of the companies were sending invoices, but it was not electronically. Okay, but they were compliant. So this regulation didn't change from the past. Okay, the only regulation that it is that you have to send e-invoice now, electronic invoice, and not anymore tax invoice. And of course, the taxable or not resident in KSA, okay, should not require to issue any electronic invoice or debit note or credit note, okay, using the e-invoicing. Compliancy, okay, how to be compliant? Of course, you have to use a compliant invoice system. You have to stop generating paper invoices, okay. Compliant ERP system, SAP Business One, custom checkouts, who can generate these type of invoices. Okay, you have to generate and store these e-invoices locally right now. Okay, in your environment in KSA in a KSA server. Okay, and ensure that all the elements for the taxation are fulfilled. Previously, I think most of the companies has tax invoices ready, so they are issuing the Arabic tax invoice with all the information like VAT number, like for the seller and for the buyer, the amount, the 15% to be shown in the invoice. All these elements should appear on the tax invoice, as well some additional requirement from that card to be added, like the buyer VAT numbers that should be there, and as well the timestamp for the invoices should be there as well. So these are new requirements to be shown on the tax invoice, okay, to be compliant as well. We have two types of e-invoicing. Okay, so we have the tax invoice and we have the simplified tax invoice. What is the difference between both of them? So tax invoice, what we call it B2B and B2G, B2B business to business or business to government. You can apply tax invoice on that. And we have the simplified tax invoice, which is B2C. B2C doesn't mean that you have to issue a simplified tax invoice. You can still have a tax invoice, no need for the simplified tax invoice if all the information, okay, for the customer, you have it. Who issues simplified tax invoice? If you go to, for example, to shops, to Burger King, to supermarkets, they don't require the customer name. They don't have a customer name, so they have to be compliant and send a simplified tax invoice. What is the difference between them in phase one? Right now, tax invoice, the way it is right now and the way you are printing, everybody is printing the tax invoice in Arabic with all the elements that we have mentioned here. Okay, has to be compliant, and QR code in the tax invoice can be added, but it's an optional one. Okay, you don't have to do it right now. You have to save it, of course, in a local server, as we said, as a PDF file, as a readable. Doesn't have to be a PDF, it can be Word, it can be any document, but it has to be readable and not editable. So that's why we prefer to do it as PDF. And for the simplified invoice, it's a mandatory to have a QR code, okay? And this QR code, when you scan it, it has to show a readable as well format for the invoice, okay, according to that specification. I will go now to SAP Business One to show you what you can do in SAP, okay, to be compliant for the e-invoicing. So in SAP Business One, okay, let me show you here. So this one, okay. First of all, you need to, as I told you, to be compliant, you need to have a copy of all your invoices stored locally. So to achieve that, we have an option in SAP Business One to do it, okay, which is export to PDF to any type of AR invoice, okay, in the regulation and the new regulation, you are not allowed anymore to cancel an invoice. You have to pay attention on that. So canceling an invoice is not allowed, and you can stop this using sub or the authorization in SAP Business One, and you have to issue a credit note instead of canceling an invoice. Even if the invoice is wrong and you did a mistake, you have to issue a credit note. Okay, you cannot cancel it anymore because it is considering manipulating your data for that. So this is what you have to pay attention as well. As well, you have to send electronically, okay, this invoice to your customers or to your B2B business to business. Okay, so let's say I want to do an invoice right now. Okay, of course we did some. This is what I'm showing you. We did some enhancement. I cannot show it to you right now, and we are applying it to the customer. Okay, one of the enhancement. If you go here, for example, I will choose, okay, the partner, the customer. I will choose any item right now. Okay. Of course, some criteria have to be as well configured at the customer level, the VAT number, the contact person, email person. Everybody should be, you should update all your business partner or your customer to be as well compliant with the new regulation. Okay, and here when I click on add, the system will tell me, okay, you need to send an email to the customer automatically. So it will pop up a message now, do you want to send an email and attach this report with you? Yes, and you just have to send the email and the email will be sent automatically from SAP Business One. It can be automatically without popping up, okay, but you need to require our add-on to send it. But if you don't want to add an add-on, but it's better to make it automatically instead of I forget to send the email to the customer or I forget to send the invoice to the customer. So this will be a better way to make it automatic. And as well, paper, you can still print a paper and invoice and send it to the customer, but it is mandatory to do it as well automatically. Now, if I go to the invoice, go to my email, okay, I will see that I will receive now an email from the company stating like this one with the invoice number. Of course, all these can be changed as well. Okay, so I received it now. Dear customer, please find your tax invoice number. This is a customer name with the price, with the due date, and with the attachment as well for the invoice. Let me go to the invoice 1454. This is one of the type of the invoice that we have that is compliant as well with that requirement. So if you click here, as I told you, you don't need to have the QR code for tax invoices, but if you need that, you can put it. It's an optional one, but if you need it, okay, if you see here, once I generate the invoice as well, a copy will be saved automatically here. So this is my invoice that was saved now, 1458, okay, in the folder that I specify as well in the general setting in SAP Business One. Okay, the system automatically will generate the QR code for me. But if you want to do the QR code, just one requirement should be there, which is upgrading to 10.0 to the latest release for SAP Business One, because the QR code was not there before 10.0. And here, as I told you, all this information, okay, should be there in the system. And as well, you have the timestamp where that should be added as well in SAP Business One. If you as well, the requirement, if you scan the QR code, okay, it should show you, okay, let me scan it again now. Okay. screen. It's not scanning now. So once you scan this QR code, okay, it should open for you. Okay, set the PDF file in a format like this. Okay, so this should be the format. Okay, it should be open. But to do that, of course, this folder has to be secured, and it has to be as well published. Okay, so once the customer scans this QR code, it has to show him the invoice, okay, to the customer in a readable format. So, okay, for us as well, we have the status. You can see that this invoice was already emailed to the customer. So here, if you want later on to see what are the invoices that are not emailed to the customer, so you can send it in a batch later on. You have it here as well in the document printing. Okay, this is another option that are available in SAP Business One. So here you can, instead of print them, you can send it by email. So I need only the document that's still to be emailed and the open invoices as well. Okay, I click OK, and then I can select them, print them, or send it by email directly. Okay, from Business One. Okay, of course we have, as I told you, sometimes to make it automatically, we are using B1IF. Okay, to make sure that we can send the email as well automatically, but this will require additional customization for each customer to send the email automatically from SAP Business One instead of any user manipulation. And we have another as well add-on called B1 Print Deliveries that we can use to send the email automatically from the system. So this is quickly what I wanted to show you and what I wanted to present for you. As I told you, phase one is a very simple one. Okay, it doesn't require too much data and manipulation. Okay, SAP Business One is already compatible with the new law of Saudi regulation. Of course, it needs customization, it needs some additional work to be done. It needs some workaround to be automatically done as well. And as well, we need as well to help our customer with the data upload for configuring VAT number on all customers, to configure emails for all contact person. So if you need our help to do that, please contact our team in Saudi and our sales in Saudi, Hatem and Rami and Khalid. And if you need any question, I will unmute everyone. By the way, just quickly, here in the invoice, when you generate the invoice as well, because I forgot to show it to you. Okay, we have, that's why I'm telling you, you have to agree if you need to show the QR code in your template. Okay, we have the QR code form here. Okay, where, for example, I'm saving now just a link to open my PDF file. So this is the QR code form. Okay, and this is how it is saved in the system, and this is only available 10.0. So now I will mute everyone. If you have any question, okay, to ask, okay, please unmute yourself and ask any questions that you want.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
I just wanted to ask, do you need to upload the PDF so the QR code works, or how does it work?
Yes, PDF should be saved. The requirement is to save the PDF. This is another one. Okay, so even without the QR code, you need to save a PDF. You need to save your PDF. Okay.
Yeah, but if I am the company receiving the invoice and I scan the QR code, will it show it immediately, or?
It should show it immediately, but using a readable format. This is a requirement: PDF, text file, anything. Okay, it doesn't have to be a requirement. if you want to scan a QR code and just save information like the TXT file, you can do that, but it will need more manipulation on the QR code, okay, to save all this information in the QR code itself, okay, because QR code usually is an encrypted format with hashtags, and you know, when you scan it, okay, it should be reconverted, okay, to a readable format. For example, what I did now is simple, okay, just to save the location for the file where it is and open the file automatically.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other question?
Hi, Tony. Deepak here.
Yes, Deepak.
Tony, there was one information we have received that the invoice has to send to GAZT website, and from there it will get validated. Is that
Not
second phase?
Yeah,
Okay.
second phase. Now there is no portal yet to GAZT, okay? And the validation tool is only for the XML file, not for the readable format. And the XML file is not required in phase 1.
Okay. So QR code generation is a standard feature of B1 where it will generate
10.0.
and 9.0 as well.
10.0 and above. Okay.
Okay.
But you have to manipulate what should be saved in this QR code here.
Okay.
Okay. The system will not tell you what you have to save. This is available. It's a table, and you have to add it in the in your register report. That's it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Johnny.
Hello, good morning, Tony, and everybody.
Hi, good morning, Arkan.
Just to recap, two things is mainly the requirement. Is the generating the QR and saving the PDF as a phase 1. This is correct?
No.
There is more?
No, actually, the QR code, if you have a simplified text invoice, it is required. But if you have B2B business, you don't need even the QR code. So the requirement is to save the PDF and to send it electronically to your customers without a QR code, if you have B2B. If you have a simplified text invoice.
The sending procedure would be manual, and sending, well, this would be some setup, the customer, the email of the customer, it is automatically.
Usually, Akram, what we do in Business One is to have, how does it work in Business One? Okay, we can send it, you can use a send email button, but it will be, you have to click on send email here. Okay, or we can use B1I app to make it automatically, but as I told you, it has to be configured and it has to have a lot of work to do. That's why we are proposing something to our customer as well. And that's why I'm telling you to contact Hatim. So here you have to put the email address for the contact person, each contact person, okay, for that, and manipulate this stuff, okay?
Just to clarify things, in the next phase or the second phase, the QR, yes, will be mandatory with XML.
Exactly.
Which is not for the time being, which is not required at all. It will be required once the GAZT tell us where to begin to integrate with their website or with their web portal. Till now, there is nothing from them.
And just to add on Hatim, okay, for phase 2, when we put when you put the QR code will read automatically from that website, not from anymore from your local environment. Okay, because everything will be uploaded there. Okay.
Okay, clear.
If you need to have a session later on with us guys, with me or Hatim, okay, please send us an email and we will be more than happy to help you as well. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hello? Okay. So I'll stop the recording now.
Thank you, Tony. It was helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.